Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life.
Pause up, pet pals. Welcome to Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life show. Of course, I'm your host, Arden Moore, and we're going to go to the pups today. I jokingly say that the first year you have with your puppy is the wonder year, because you really do wonder where your sanity goes. And here to help us save our sanity and bring out the best in our pets is one of the country's top experts on dogs. She is amazing. She's a good friend. Everybody join me in giving pause and applause to Teoti Anderson. Welcome back on the show. You were a guest before, Teoti, so you must have felt it was not so painful.
It's never painful with you, Arden. You're awesome.
So, Pops, come on. I got this little brain and I think it's working, but what did you say? Squirrel? Butterfly? I mean, disrupt. I mean, what is going on in that fast-growing brain of a puppy?
There's a lot going on, and then there's a nap.
Wait, I'd say it again.
Puppies crack me up because they're go, 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 and then they're asleep. And then they go, 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 and then they're asleep again. And it's really cute. And then there's that sad, sad day when the naps go away.
Oh.
And you're left with the awake puppy all the time. And so it's very painful. Puppies are awesome. Puppies are wonderful, but they're exhausting.
Is there such a thing, because for all the parents out there with two-leggers, toddlers, is there such thing as a, quote, terrible two stage in puppies?
Yes. I think it's about 7 to 9 months.
Okay.
7 to 9 months. And it depends on the breed, because as you know, the larger the breed, the later they are to develop, actually.
Okay.
So a tiny breed, like a little Maltese or a little Papillon, is going to be a physical adult at 1 year. But your average Golden Retriever or larger breed is going to be 2.5 before they're an adult.
Oh, wow. All
but
right.
7 to 9 months is very painful for everybody. They're full-blown teenagers. They don't listen. It's very painful. I warn people that all the time.
So the key I'm hearing from you with puppies is that they go through different development stages, and maybe success is based on, if you can share, knowing what to expect at certain stages. So can you give us some examples?
Sure. So when you first bring a puppy home, typically around 8 to 9 weeks, they follow you around like little ducklings. You think that you have made the right decision. This is going to be a piece of cake. They just look, they're off leash in the front yard. This is awesome. They're not going to. And about 16 weeks, they wake up. They can see things they couldn't hear before. They can smell things they couldn't hear before. And that's when they dart across the street. Well, they can see the squirrel, but they couldn't see the squirrel last week. So you realize really what you've done to yourself bringing this little creature home, because there's a lot more distractions for your attention now. And so they become more challenging. So you get lulled into that initial false sense of security, that wondrous time. But puppies are exhausting. They require a ton of supervision and a ton of training up front to get it right, because puppyhood is critical to the life of the dog.
Which brings me to my favorite P word, potty. And I remember years ago, I had a little corgi named Jazz. And I swear every 4 hours we were having to go outside. We were house training. I was house training Jazz. And one time at 4:00 in the morning, I was so excited because Jazz did his thing. And I went, good, potty. And my neighbor next door apparently was in the bathroom with their window open and said, thank you.
Oh, no.
But potty is big. Potty is a priority. Any potty tips you can share?
I will say that I found after doing this for so many years is that the biggest thing that people overlook when house training their dogs is supervision.
Okay.
It's people can figure out a schedule. You need proper scheduling. You need proper training. But people overlook how much supervision a puppy needs. You can't let them out of your sight for 2 seconds, because if they have an accident and you're not there, there's no consequence to that. You can't get it right. If I'm teaching a dog to come when called or to sit or to high five, I can get 30 reps out of that dog. I cannot make a puppy pee 30 times a day.
If you can, you're going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Or the vet's office.
Yeah. So what do you suggest? Because I pay attention to my pets when they pee, because I'm a pet first aid instructor and I'm always looking at pee and poop. But what can we do to motivate our pet parents to really hone in on bathroom time?
Just make sure that you're being consistent and don't let the puppy out of your sight.
Okay.
And
so do you say good potty? Is that good? What do you say when
I'll pray as soon as the puppy is done? People make the mistake of praising as soon as they start, and so the puppy stops.
Oh,
don't do that. When the last drop is out, then you praise, and you have to have an immediate treat. Remember that in order for there to be a consequence, you have to immediately follow an action. So people will let the puppy go outside and pee and then bring the puppy inside and give it a treat. Well, you didn't pay the puppy for peeing. You paid them for coming inside.
So timing
is critical.
I mean, so we're going to be carrying around treats in our pocket or having a little treat pouch, right? During puppyhood?
Absolutely. Yep. That's the best way to train your puppy.
That would be such a fashion statement if you go out on a date or with your spouse and you forgot that you have a food pouch on your hip, right?
I do that all the time because I wear one for a living. So I'll go in the bank and I'll have it on I'm like, oh, I don't need that in the bank. I don't know why I did that. It's just such a habit now.
So when the teller does something nice to you, do you give them a treat from your pouch?
Yes, I mark it and then I give it a treat. Here's some freeze-dried liver.
So you talk about timing, and I think us humans sometimes don't pay attention to that. That seems to be a key to puppy training.
Yes, timing
right?
and consistency. Yes.
Okay, all right. And you say consistency. So don't say potty or go to the urinal. You're coming up. So if you got more than one person in your family, how do you get a vocabulary that's consistent so that the puppy, no matter who's talking to them, is getting the same message?
That's really important. So I love families that all attend lessons with me because that means everybody is going to be on the same page. And so they're going to have more consistency. But whether you need a list of commands on the fridge or something, it's really important that you use consistent terms and consistent training with your puppy so that the dog learns to listen. And also keep in mind that whoever spends the most time with the puppy in training and feeding and caring, that puppy's going to listen to that person better.
Oh, so it's not your size. It's your time with them invested.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, gosh. It is a crazy time being with a puppy. But they grow up so fast. So, I mean, you get your puppy from 8, 9 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, and all of a sudden you're celebrating their first birthday and you say, where did it go? Is there anything you do to kind of celebrate that first year that you can share with our listeners?
When you've been with dogs as long as you and I have, I think I almost celebrate almost just every day, especially with my older ones. We've both had older dogs that were ill and things like that. And so I try to celebrate those milestones. I think with puppies, it's really easy to celebrate that first tooth that they lost. Everybody gets excited. And then that first year of surviving that first year is always critical. I like a good party. They give them a little cake and it's dog safe cake and something fun like that.
Yeah, dog safe cake, guys. They do make a lot of recipes out there that are yummy for doggies treats. And you have a book. I know you have several books. Puppy Care and Training. It's kind of a classic right now. Is there any other book that you want to mention that maybe people can go to? And again, we have Teoti Anderson with us, and her company is called adogsbestfriend.com. But what would be a couple titles you could throw at us?
Well, definitely Puppy Care or Training for Puppies. Also have the Dog Behavior Problem Solver. So that if you weren't quite able to help the puppy during that phase, or you got a slightly older dog, that will help you with any kind of problems from barking to aggression to fear, those kinds of issues. There's also the Ultimate Guide to Dog Training, which will help you teach your dog basic and advanced skills.
All right. Hey, everybody. We're speaking with Teoti Anderson. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to plunge into more tips and tricks for you and your pup. So sit and stay. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Four-Legged Life. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I'm getting pupped up thanks to professional dog trainer Teoti Anderson. And we should give a little bit of her resume, if you will. She is the past president of the American Academy of Professional Dog Trainers. She and her husband, Tim Mullaney, do A Dog's Best Friend. And tell us why that company's kind of has got an accolade, if you will.
We are South Florida's oldest positive dog training company. So my husband, Tim Mullally, founded the company in 1994. I was training in South Carolina and I moved down here and we got married and I joined him in his business down here. So we've been at this positive training business for quite a long time.
So you say positive, I say positive. What does that mean, really? What does that mean?
To boil it down, I don't have to hurt dogs in order to train them.
There you go.
I don't need to. When I first started out, I'm older than I look. When I first started out, I used to use some harsh methods and some harsh training tools. And then I met Dr. Ian Dunbar, the founder of the Association of Professional Dog Trainers. And he taught me that you didn't have to be mean to dogs in order to get success. And I've been so much more successful with so many more dogs, all different breeds, ever since. The more we learn about science and the science of canine behavior, the better equipped we are to help shape that behavior.
Well, I know dogs in some regards emotionally are like us, and in some regards they have stellar senses of smell and hearing beyond us. But I think it boils down to they have emotions, right? They react to our things. So can you be a dog or a puppy and I did an oopsie, so or you're trying to train them to finally sit. Is there something you can share with us that would click inside a canine's head that they want to be a good student?
The best way to your puppy's brain is through food, a food treat. Your timing is important, but you should make training fun. This is a puppy. You don't have to yell at your puppy. You should make training fun. None of us would like taking a class if the instructor just yelled at us all the time. You teach these wonderful first aid courses, and I can guarantee you're not screaming at your students to get it right.
No, I'm telling dad jokes, and that's...
Is that torture for them too then? Okay, maybe.
Just say it's like a dad joke because it's a parent. Okay. But I think people have more fun when they're laughing or they feel safe. And it sounds like you do the same thing for puppies.
Yes, exactly. The puppies do a lot better when they feel safe. And when, it makes them want to work for you rather than afraid not to work for you.
So you've had a lot of dogs all your life. Who was the best pup when it came to learning? Come on, time to do a little brag on one of your own.
Gosh. So, okay, I had the smartest dog I've ever known. His name was Merlin. He was a Shetland sheepdog. And I don't know if they make them anymore, but do you remember those touch lamps?
Oh, yeah.
Right. He learned how to turn them off.
Oh.
He was so smart. We would go to bed and he would get up and kind of make sure I was still asleep. But one night I wasn't. I had my eyes almost closed, and he went and turned the lamp off and went back to bed. He just didn't like the lamp on in his eyes. He was so smart. He could escape anything. He's the reason I discovered crates, because he would escape any room, anything, and he got into trouble accordingly.
Now, a lot has been steady information is happening about, you said, the science of dogs and learning behavior and all. And I had heard that sometimes when you have a pup and the puppy is in your bedroom while you're sleeping, you're bonding, all that, instead of the puppy being out of below, some people are putting their crates on their end tables in their bedrooms to be at eye level. Am I wacky here, or what's your thoughts on that?
No, because that's what we do when we raise puppies for people. So we have
tell us about that.
And just so we can stick our fingers in there and say, hey, you're fine. You're right here. I don't put them in the bed. Okay. People make the mistake of putting them in the bed right away. And I don't think that that's smart. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with dogs sleeping on the bed. I just want them to be house trained, chew proof, and have no aggression issues.
I smell you. You're here. But that's kind of novel, this new thing with the nightstands, right? With the eye level. What's that? How is that from your expertise standpoint versus them just being in a crate on the floor?
I just think it gives you easier access as the human. You can just stick your fingers in the crate, especially for the first few nights until they get used to it, where you can reassure them and keep an eye on them up there. It just brings them up there to eye level. Now that's hard to do when you have a Mastiff puppy. You just need one big nightstand.
Yeah. Or you can put it on something than the nightstand, right?
The card table. Set up the card table next to the bed.
And is there any other things that are kind of been new puppy techniques you could share that have been happening in recent years? I mean, where are we heading with training our pups?
I think that people are understanding, because of science and because of the latest information, that you can start training your puppy right away. You do not have to wait 4 months till they've had shots. You do not have to wait in order to train your puppy. I start training puppies as soon as I meet them at 8 weeks, and they're so much easier to train at that age. You just have to do shorter sessions because they have no attention span.
Well, you made a good thing. So don't wait until it's safe because they're already sucking in all the things in your home, right?
Right. And people will call me about house training for puppies, and they'll call me for play biting. That's the other big one.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you about that. Yeah. But my dog just bit me.
Little piranhas.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do and what don't you do? What's a do and don't because they're teething.
Right. You need to teach them to chew what to chew. So everybody wants to say, Teoti, what do I do when he gets it wrong? What do I do when he mauls me, when I'm bleeding, I'm crying, he's ripped my shirt? And I'll tell them what to do, but what's more important is to train them what to do. They have to put their teeth on something. Okay. So we have to guide them in the right direction. So I use a lot of food stuff toys. I rotate toys every day so they seem fresh. Mm-hmm. If you have $800 worth of toys out, they're going to get bored because they see them every day. It's like us with TV. You flip TV all the time. You can't find anything to watch. You only have 800 channels. Puppies are the same way, but you have to really train them. Also, when they chew on you and when they get your socks, when they get things, people are on it. They step up. But when the puppy picks up a toy, nobody says anything.
Grasshopper.
Right. So I'm like,
to enlightenment.
Pick up a toy, you're like, that was a good choice, young man. That was a good choice today.
So you do pause and applause for a pup.
I do.
That's critical, I think, because we're too busy telling them what not to do. And you're saying bank some good times and acknowledge when they are doing something good.
Right. And it's so much fun because if you start praising, I did it the other day, it was a little golden retriever puppy, and she finally picked up the right thing in her mouth. And I just made the biggest fuss, and she started strutting around with that toy like she was just hot stuff.
Watch my tail. Watch my tail. I'm doing good. Yeah.
I got the toy. So she was so proud of herself, and I made such a huge fuss. She's going to remember that and want to do it again. Okay. So if all you do is yell at them, they don't care how they get at your attention, whether they're naughty or nice. And I'll choose nice every time.
Oh, I love it. Hey, we're speaking with Teoti Anderson. She is an amazing professional dog trainer. She's a best-selling author. She and her husband, Tim, run A Dog's Best Friend. It's in South Florida. And what's your big wish? If you could wave a wand over all puppies all over the world, what is your wish for them, Teoti?
Oh, I love that question. I wish all the things that people ask me for traditionally are important: house training, play biting, all the stuff. But I wish people spent more time on proper socialization before the age of 12 weeks. Oh, because really? That's where I see, when you go into a teenagehood and adulthood, the most problems. People think that they should wait. They don't think they should take their dogs out. And you can do it safely, but it is so critical. I work with some very fearful and aggressive dogs, and it could have been prevented if they had been properly socialized before the age of 12 weeks.
So don't delay from day one. Get your pup socialized, right?
Yes. It's critical.
Thank you so much, Teoti. We're talking to Teoti Anderson. Go to adogsbestfriend.com.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content. Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life.